started their
Right.
sort of ascent?
Well, I think their guard play, has really helped them on both ends of the court. I think more than anything. Hawkins, leads the nation in assists. He gives them ultimate quickness that can break down the defense. Cam Christie's a NBA prospect, a guy that can make shots, can shoot off the dribble, can, get things in transition, can play out of ball screens. Mitchell gives them that combo guard between those two that can do a little bit of both of those things. He can handle the basketball. He has quickness. He can create a shot for himself. So when you look at that, and then Carrington, is another guy that plays hard, that guards, that can make an open shot also. So I think their guards was something, because Cam was a true freshman, Hawkins was a transfer, Mitchell was a transfer. Just people that they had questions about just because they were new. And those guys have really, really played well. And then you throw an all-conference player like Garcia. Pharrell Payne is just a man. Physical, tough, plays hard, gets on the glass. So when you look at that, and then Fox brings him energy off the bench, he can play the 4 and the 5. Ala Joseph is talented and long and athletic. So they got a good crew of guys. So it's not where it's one or two guys. They have a good team. They have good depth. They play on both ends. But they're evolving. Like they're getting better each game. You can see that. You'll see a little bit of difference, like everybody on the road versus being at home. But they've had games like the game against Iowa, and I know they just lost it, but they're up 20. Like how many teams on the road up 20 that loses their best player that doesn't play in the second half? That could happen to. It could happen to all of us. And so they've had some games and had some success where they've scored. They've also had some grinders where they've won games in the 50s and the early 60s. So they've proven that they can play a couple different ways. So this is going to be a challenge for us.
If Garcia's healthy, how hard to see guard?
Well, just the fact that he has that size and he can shoot threes, but he also can post. He can slash and get he can get on the glass, but he's going to post up guys that he feels like he has an advantage, and then he's going to drag out guys to the arc. He feels like when he has an advantage out there. So just a good frontline player, a guy that's had a lot of experience, being in the Big East, being in the ACC, and now being in the Big Ten.
Do they only use him at the 4? Do they slide him at the 5 some?
They just throw out different combinations, more than anything. I don't know if they what they're calling it. You'd have to ask them that, but it really doesn't matter because they can't choose who we, defend him with.
Minnesota is second in assists to field goals made, I believe, in the country. Does that challenge your guys' connectedness on defense most of all?
Well, I think it challenges, to start with, trying to bottle up Hawkins a little bit. He's very elusive. He's very good with the ball. He's got good quickness. He knows where people are. I think that's where it starts with. If you take bad shots, he's going to get in transition more. If you turn the ball over, he's going to get in transition more. If you can't contain the dribble, he's going to get to the rim more. So, those things are so important. Take care of the basketball, take good shots, set your defense, try to keep him corralled. But that's, it's easier said than done. Quickness is tough to deal with.
Just want to follow up on something you said last week about Braden and Fletcher being better mentally conditioned to handle the rigors of the whole season. What do you mean by that?
Just you've been through experiences where you feel good about it through your first year, but yet you have moments to where it gets to you, because it's hard on everybody. It's no different than somebody being a really good college player and then going to the NBA, and you just played 35 games and you thought it was an absolute war. And it's really nothing compared to an NBA schedule, right? No different than high school. You think high school is hard, and high school is not hard compared to college, and college is not hard compared to the NBA. You just have to mentally go through some experiences. So now after you understand, this is for everybody. This isn't just hard for me, this is hard for everybody. And the guys that are more successful, learn to have that mental toughness and just fight through it. So I just think that, they're mentally tougher than they were last year, even though I thought they did some really good things last year. But when you don't have the experience, it's just more difficult. It comes with experience. A lot of big guys don't have that experience because they're not very good and nobody doubles them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just, like, why should you be a good passer when people want you to shoot the basketball from 5 feet? That just, makes no sense, and people don't quite understand that. Well, for him, like, he had to get himself to that position, and he wasn't there. He started basketball late, and now once he started to be able to make jump hooks and get deep position, then people came, and then we had an issue. And so then we went to work. Like, we just went to work, and anytime something gets you, just set up drills to where they got you. And then, you just work on that. And then somebody gets you again, you set up a drill like that. So you just keep doing it. Eventually you run out of problematic scenarios and you just get better at stuff. But you make them understand the why of what they're doing. A lot of times just do what I say isn't a very good philosophy. Here's why we're going to do this, and explain yourself. And I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to explain, here's the different scenarios. Then you always got to give them the caveat, we can only coach one team. So there's 2 teams out there. Even though this is what they're doing and this is what they have been doing, they do have the right to do whatever the hell they want in the game. So if something changes, even though we've worked on this and this should be open, you still got to see it. You still got to be able to be fundamentally sound if they jump a passing lane or they jump a switch or just anything when he has the basketball.
The productivity you've gotten, Trey and Mason, as a combination,